Welcome to orientation. So, my name is Braxton Mitchell. My email address is bmitchell@westwoodchristian.org. You can give me my extension is 274 if you need to reach me by that. But as we get into this, I want to talk a little bit about myself as you get to know me as I teach your students. First thing is I grew up in cornfields. Like I grew up in central Illinois, miles between people's house sometimes. It's beautiful, I love it. Cornfields, I just really enjoy it. But some things about me, I did graduate from Pensacola Christian College, PCC as it's oftentimes referred to as, and I am an outdoorsman. And that means hunting, fishing, swimming, kind of anything I can do outdoors, I want to do it. I enjoy all different kinds of livestock. Wouldn't bother me to have a farm one day. I really do enjoy everything outdoors with that. But again, that comes back to my roots of being in Central Illinois. But I look now here being in Miami and I'm excited. It's kind of the polar opposite of how I grew up and what I enjoy, to be honest. But I know it's where the Lord has me and I'm excited for that. But I want to go into the classes. We have chemistry and physical science. I'm going to talk about them first because they're very similar. So with that, we have recommended supplies. This is, again, I want to say recommended. This is not something you're going to see on the syllabus. It is a 3-ring binder and some folders or dividers. And this is great for notes. Physical science and chemistry are really going to be those classes that are going to help prepare you most for college. Because of that, the students need to get used to taking notes, having things organized for tests, homework. If there's any problems, for say I make a mistake in grading, they have a quiz there they can refer back to it. Homework, they can use it to study it before the test as well as have a note section. So that's really where I would focus and then having that. But as well as that though, I do want to talk about hybrid. One thing specifically about hybrid with these classes is the labs. If you sign up to do the lab portion, or the hybrid, there's going to be labs. Specifically on the syllabus, I mentioned having supplies you're going to need to buy as well as chemicals. Now, when I say chemicals, do not worry or freak out or anything. What I want us to think about is a lot of these chemicals are going to be home supplies, baking soda, white vinegar, Drano of some sorts, and drain clog, kind of things that you should already probably have in your house. That's what we're doing. But there's a little caveat with that. There's a disclaimer is that because of using those chemicals, they're also going to need to have a few extra steps. But this is, if you're in the class, you don't have to worry about this. But if you are hybrid, I will make sure to help out, guide the students along that they are not blind having to go through these processes. But as well as that is notes. I'm working on my master's currently in science of education, and through that, I'm taking all my classes online. It is very easy to not be taking notes and not listen to anything that was said that day. I think I'm going to remember, and the next day I completely blanked out, I forgot. And I'm going to really emphasize the students at home that are hybrid be taking notes. You want to be able to remember the next day? This is the key to it, and that is by taking notes. Now for Algebra 1, sometimes I get asked, is math useful? Is math easy? Anything with that? And you may be asking yourself, even as a parent, my students just need to get this because it's required. Math is very useful. First off, if they were to get a job, later on cashiers, you have to be able to do math. Kind of everything for that is going to be math oriented. If you want to do something in science such as biology, when they get into the upper courses, math is going to be there as their help. Even as I'm going to be rocked, I'm going to be in the future of having to see what they might be doing, math is important for it. Now we see that though as we have supplies again, the exact same thing for Algebra 1. I understand they're 8th, 9th grade, but this is going to help prepare them in the future for what's going to be happening with that, as well as having to make sure they have their quizzes if I were to make a mistake. One thing about this with math though is we're doing participation as part of the grade. With participation, especially for the hybrid students, it's going to be hard for them, and I'm going to be working with the hybrid students specifically about participation. And I want them, if they have questions, to be reaching out to me. And participation is really going to be in their ball game. Like they have the ball, they're to participate, they need to be reaching out to me, raising their hand via Zoom, different ways, and I'll be making note of which one to make sure the students are getting appropriate participation. All that said is now the big question is easy to get asked is calculators. And there's two different kinds, scientific and graphing. The class I'm going to need is going to be scientific. And I want to see the screens right here is the big difference. Oh, whoops. The screen right here is the big difference between the two. If it says graphing, do not get it. It's going to do more than the students are going to be able to require for that. So I want us to make sure they're practicing with the scientific calculators. Scientific again. But I'm excited for the school year, and I am praying that it is the best school year that these students have gone through yet.